So, not sure if anyone still cares. This is an update of the Carlinville house and its current status, and you're only seeing this if we got permission to post, which I don't know if we have yet. I'm not going to do it, certainly against Jerry's wishes, because this is ultimately his house, the house that he and Joanne shared. In any case, we did notice something interesting. And this is the original chimney. I didn't even know that was in there. There's a floor register that does not look like it's of this century.
That's original. That's always been in our house.
Yep. But in any case, yeah, that's not the point. Of the cool things we noticed, number one, this is a pipe for a gas lamp that would have been from like the Victorian era. But then secondarily, Jen actually noticed this. This is the old staircase original to the house. This is the new one on top of it. The landing is new. You can even see like the original staircase just leads out to the floor. And originally, there would have just been one way up and off. There was no landing or anything like that. Now, what Jen noticed is that, number one, this is all covered with paneling that was still relatively intact. So this burn damage did not come from this current fire. And you'll notice that this staircase becomes increasingly burned the further up you go. The original staircase, which is also noticed more narrow, and it's offset from the original one. And that burn damage, again, this was covered by a panel. Like, this was fine. Absolutely fine after the current fire. The paneling, they covered all of this. You're only seeing this for the first time now. So this damage would have, maybe that was a combination of both fires like over here, but that is fire damage from the original fire. Whenever that was, we have no idea. We have no record of it. But in any case, it burned badly enough. You can see as you go up again, that was all covered. So this is from whatever fire originally burned this house, and the fire never reached the living room. So this was a house-wide fire that this house survived well before any of us even knew that this house existed. Bear in mind, it's been here in some way, shape, or form. It's been completed since 1859. We found a cornerstone over there from about that year. We think that the construction started on the original house back in 1857. And you can still see wood marks from the tools from back then. But in any case, it was a fire. Original to the house was badly enough that they redid the staircase. They put in a double landing so you can get out either side, and they widened it, and they offset it from the original staircase. But it collapsed. Like, that much is uncertain. Otherwise, like, if they just tore it out, they would have torn out the entire staircase. They wouldn't have just like torn out some of them and left some of them burned. And again, that could not have been from this current fire. So in any case, like, they redid the staircase, like the entire landing after that fire. And we're going to check the microfiche and see, like, is there any sort of a record of the original fire, like with any fatalities or what? Because those stairs collapsed. There would have been no way to get out of here from that original fire. Again, the fire never reached the upstairs. Like, there was some heat damage and some like melted smoke detectors, and the fan that was over here was burned. But otherwise, like, all of the damage you see behind the walls, and this is Jen's old bedroom, that fire damage on the roof, 100% could not have been from this fire. So it was badly enough this entire house got burned, badly. And again, just to give you a sense of how serious that would have been, I'm going to show you, like, for comparison purposes, the burn damage from this current fire. You can see in what used to be the half-bed bathroom, you can see the windows a little bit scored. The melted washer and dryer were over here, and you don't really see that much burn damage on the original timbers. They survive an impressive amount of heat, relatively unscathed. I mean, this is current to this fire. There's a little bit of burn damage here on this wood. So whatever happened back in the day in that original fire, for those timbers to have been burned that badly, and that's oak timber, that does not burn easily. 2x6 oak timbers, it was originally covered by a thick layer of lead-based paint. That would have taken a ton of heat to do, and for those stairs to collapse. So you can even see one still kind of dangling there. But in any case, yeah, if the walls could talk, I'm sure there'd be a hell of a story they could tell. Also, this is a pocket door. I think that must have come from like the Victorian era. They haven't made those super recently. I have no way of knowing this, but I do remember reading that they used to use, this is kind of a weird lime green color, which probably would have been a lot more vivid back in the day. But I read I heard on a History Channel documentary, like Deadly Victorian times, that they used to use, in order to get that sort of vivid lime green color, they used to use arsenic-based paint and arsenic-based wallpaper that if it became aerosolized, obviously became deadly. But in any case, I have a strong suspicion that that's probably what this used to be. But yeah, also not of this century. The purpose of this, they'd pull this pocket door closed, and then this living room area could be an area like a front room parlor area that the women back in Victorian times could sit and talk. Anyway, all just great history. Then you look up into the ceiling, you also see more burn damage up there. Again, the fire really never reached this room. It was all contained to the dining room. Basically, like, there was a hutch over here that burned. This wall burned pretty badly, and this room was just scored because the electricity traveled up the negative lead, which then led to the 240 cable, led to the washer and dryer, and the fire really spread out from here. And you can still see the burn damage from that. But this room and this room were the most heavily burned. The living room, the upstairs area were all completely untouched by this current fire. So this is evidence that this room survived not one but two fires. This would have been from the current one, probably. But anyway, neither here nor there. I just thought that was insanely cool, though. Anyway, happy Sunday. Hope everyone's doing okay. This is the house.